pretty much we started off with a real simple bass line. So have we got any bassists? Anyone play bass guitar? You play bass guitar, cool. And you do as well. Or just guitar. So it's a real simple thing. It's just a one note part, so you could just do it on one string. So even if you're not like an amazing guitarist, you could write something like this. It's really easy. So I'll play you the part, and then you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? And there's a little click track on it, just going, just to show you the timing. Okay? So ignore that because it's kind of annoying. So that was like the first idea for the song. It's a real simple thing, and it's just like 4 notes basically. And Lee can show you, for any of you who play guitar or bass, Lee can show you what the 4 notes are. Real simple.
It's pretty easy.
Standard tuning.
Yes, standard.
Did you say what's the tuning?
Yeah.
Yeah, standard tuning. It's in E. So yeah, everything's just standard tuning on the guitar. Yeah, it's real simple, and it's only 4 notes. So what we're going to try and do for the whole lesson is just show you how simple it is to write a song, basically, so that then when you go and write a song, you don't feel like you have to make it really complicated and stuff. So yeah, so that's where the song started, just with those notes. Everyone cool? You all understand? And by the way, if anyone wants to ask a question at any point during the whole thing, then feel free to just, I mean, there's so many of you, you might have to put your hand up, but just ask anything you want to ask at any point. So, okay, so that was like the first thing we wrote for the song. And then, I don't know if you want to talk about the chord.
Yeah, so basically I just looked at the notes we were using and made chords from them. So obviously if I played it on one string it would sound pretty cheap. So like all I did is use simple chords that if anyone plays guitar, the chords are just C, A, E major and an added G. So it's like pretty simple, I'll show you quick.
Cool. So we're not really trying to teach you how to play the song necessarily, because you can learn that just by going on the internet. We're more trying to show you just how the song was put together and how easy it is to put together a song, sort of thing. So once you combine the bass and the guitar, sounds a bit like this. Everyone cool? All follow that so far? Cool. Okay, so it's really simple. Next thing I want to show you is just like, so we have a little chord pattern progression. That's basically the chorus of the song, yeah? So then we came up with a little beat. It's like real simple thing, and it's an electronic drum beat. Do any of you mess around with like electronics or synthesizers or software like Cubase or GarageBand or anything like that? Have any of you ever experienced that kind of stuff? Do you have how to play with it? You've tried, okay. I've tried too. So yeah, it's real simple, and the beat is pretty much just as easy as it gets. Hang on, I think this is fucking up here. We're struggling a little bit because we haven't got much stuff, we couldn't fly much, so. But yeah, I'm just going to show you the beat that goes underneath those guitars to make it, and you'll start to see how it sounds a bit more like the final song. See what I mean? So here's the beat that goes underneath those guitars. get rid of the click for you. So as you can see, it's real simple, just boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, boom. It's pretty much just like a kick, drum, and a clap, yeah? Really simple. But then when you take the beat and the bass and the guitar, it starts to sound a bit more like the song you might recognize. So there you go. Cool. So now we've got a few different layers, and it's starting to sound a bit more like a song. And everything that you've heard so far is, I think, really simple. Basic chords that you could learn like in your first few lessons. The beat is easy, and the bass line's really simple, so it's nothing complicated. Anyone have any questions at all? I don't know, Lee?
Do you mean like, how did we change the sound? Yeah. So, I don't know, but a big factor was the fact that we got Jordan in the band. He does all like the keys and weird beats and vocal things. He does stuff. So like, basically, it's the first time me, Jordan, and Ollie ever wrote together. So that's why it sounds like this now. Whereas it used to just be me and Ollie. So like, it was cool to have someone else come in and have an influence. Yeah, it was a great idea.
No, the bass is actually bass guitar. The guitar, the beat. I mean, it's just, I use some software, so it's pretty much just a real simple kick drum and a clap, but with loads of reverb on it. Do you all know what reverb is? It's like echo kind of thing, for those of you who don't know. So if you actually listen to the beat, it's pretty much just a kick drum and a clap, but with loads of reverb on. So that's how you get like, sounds like it's in a cave or something. So that's just a clap. With loads of reverb, yeah. Any reverb. I just use the one that comes with Pro Tools called Deverb. It's a shit reverb really, but it's really simple and it sounds cool. So yeah, exactly. So it doesn't have to be complicated to sound good. You know what I mean? It's just you just got to make sure that you pick the right beats and don't try and overcomplicate things. So anyway, what's the next thing? Yeah, I'll show you Matt's drums. That's probably worth looking at. So once we have that electronic beat doing the, Matt got on his drum kit and he wrote a beat to kind of match along with it, which sounds like this. I'll show you. So if you hear the drums and the electronic beat together, it kind of gives the drums a bit more of a like epic big sound because you've got all that reverb on the clap, so it sounds like this. So if you take away the clap, it just sounds a bit more like. So it kind of makes the drums sound a bit more heavy and a bit more like huge. So yeah, epic. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it works well anyway. So there you go. So now you've pretty much got a beat, guitar, bass. It's the basics of a song, pretty much. Basics of a chorus. the next thing I guess is to show you. Well, I can either I'll show you some of the synths. Any of you guys who are interested in like synths or keyboards or weird sounds and stuff like that, I'll show you some of the stuff that is in there that you might not have heard, and just kind of tell you how you can make it, because it's really easy to make. These are some of the elements that I put in there that you may not have heard first time. If you listen to the record, you may not have heard it. So. There's this one, which is kind of like it's like a synth pad. So if you've got like a keyboard, it's just like a sustained sound, and the notes are really easy. They follow the bass line. So again, I'm not really adding anything in particularly clever, but it's just one note following the bass line, and then another higher note that kind of makes it sound a bit more spooky. So I'll show you that so you can hear it. So it's real simple, but it's like just a load of different layers of sounds, and it makes it sound huge. You know what I mean? Like it's got that kind of. So when you mix, like if you put the drums and the electronic beat and that in together, you get more of a like. It sounds kind of haunting and spooky. You get me? Everyone follow? Cool. Okay, anyone have any questions so far? Anything whatsoever about any of that stuff? Are you all following? Everyone happy? Cool, okay. So I'm going to show you just a couple more things. Again, this one's more aimed at anyone who's interested in like working on a computer or making weird sounds. There's actually a woman's voice just going me, which I downloaded an MP3 off the internet of this, just an a cappella, which basically is just a woman singing on her own, and she had like a real nice breathy voice, like really like. So I took the end of one of the lines where she was talking, saying me, and I kind of chopped the me off, and then put loads of reverb on it. So then every time the chorus comes around, this me kicks in, and it kind of makes the chorus sound really heavy. And well, I like it anyway. It kind of sounds like a cymbal because it's got the breathy to it. I'll show you it, and next time you listen to the track, you'll probably notice it mixed in there. It's real simple. It's just a. You never noticed that? Well, you wouldn't. But listen for it next time and you might hear it. But every time it comes around, it has like a kind of sound. Which, it sounds a bit weird on its own, but then when you mix it in with like the synths and the drums, it makes every time the chorus repeats, it makes it sound a bit more, the drop a bit more powerful. So you get this like. You get it? Cool? I don't know if that's something that you'd ever do, but it's just shows you that you can use weird sounds to kind of. Yeah, oh yeah, there's another thing as well. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I did some guitars that kind of followed the keyboards that Jordan did as well. But has anyone ever heard of an EBO? EBO. Yeah. I just used loads of. Basically, it just vibrates the string, and then I put reverb on a lot. I think we like reverb.
You like reverb?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Not the EBO. I don't use the EBO live, but I use reverb a lot. But yeah, it sounds weird. So.
That's actually Lee's guitar with the EBO. So again, it's all about little layers all working together to create the full sound. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you hear like the woman going me, and the ebo and the synths together with the electronic beat and the drums, and the guitars, and the bass. Starts to sound a bit more like the song off the record, yeah? It's kind of layers, yeah. It's all different layers, and everything has its space. So obviously, you don't want to have, if you've got a bass guitar playing really low. So any of you guys in bands? None of you? No, a couple of you. You're in a band. Cool. Anyone else in a band? Or yeah. So obviously, if you've got your bassist or someone playing real low, then you probably want to think about having something else, doing something higher. Otherwise, they're going to be competing for the same frequency range, and it can get a bit messy. So that's a big part of the battle of trying to layer stuff. You have a question? You look like you have a question. God knows, a lot. On this song, a lot, because it's the first song on the album. Well, I mean, I have no idea, but for example, this sound, this synthesizer sound here, that's maybe 8 different synths. But they're all doing the same thing, so it sounds like one sound. But I'll often like layer loads of different synths because I kind of like the sound. Like it sounds huge because it's lots of different layers. So we use that a lot to make things sound really big. You know what I mean? Yeah. Next thing I'm going to show you is just. I think this is starting to clock up again. Yeah, it's another. Bear with me 1 second. The computer's struggling a bit. Worth the wait. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, this is like a vocal line, Ollie's vocal, that leads into the chorus. So you'll probably recognize it, it's in the verse. I'm just going to play you it first and then show you how, if again, for any of you guys who like to mess around in computers or are interested in like tunes, how to make a tune, I'll show you how we made the tune in the chorus. It's the kind of one that goes like, and like a catchy tune. I'll show you how that was made. So here you go.
Can you hear the silence? Can you see the dark?
That's Oliver.
Can you fix the broken? Can you feel my heart?
So that kind of leads into the chorus, and then there's no vocal over the chorus. There's not like any singing, basically. All there is in the chorus is actually that. So I'm going to show you how I made it. It's basically just pretty much based on his vocals. So I've taken a section of his singing and then chopped it and then just changed the note, moved it around to make a little tune. So if any of you guys have ever messed around in like GarageBand or Cubase or Logic or Pro Tools or any kind of software, even stuff you can get for free, this is really easy to do. I just took a little section from the heart line here. Here we go.
Can you feel my heart?
So that bit there, I just took a little section. So you can kind of make a note out of it because sounds like a note, doesn't it? So then I took that and then kind of chopped it. And then I pitched it around to make different notes. So I had a little tune in my head. So I pitched his vocal and made it. It's real simple, and it's just chopped out of the vocal. So when you hear it, actually, the actual final one has got some other stuff in it, and it's a bit distorted. It sounds a bit different, but it sounds. So it's basically a vocal chopped up and moved around to make a melody. But I mean, it's the kind of melody that you guys could easily write like on a keyboard or any instrument really. You could write that melody on a guitar. It doesn't really matter. It's more about the fact that it's catchy. Gets stuck in your head, sort of thing. Yeah, I quite like it too. Cool.
Do you have to wait till you're done with the whole song, or you write as the song goes on? I mean the voice melody.
The vocals.
Yeah.
Do we write when do we write the vocals in the process?
Or at least the melody.
Melody.
Yeah.
The melody.
On this CD, we wrote a lot of the choruses. Like we'd get a rough chorus musically, and then Ollie would sing a chorus. But a lot of the time, it wouldn't be lyrics and stuff. It'd just be like notes, and then he'd redo it with lyrics and stuff. And a lot of time, we used a trumpet, which sounds stupid, but we had like a trumpet sound that played the chorus, and then he wrote the lyrics to a trumpet.
So like if you're trying to write, if you've got some chords or something on a guitar or on a piano, we'll often write a vocal melody but not singing. We'll write it on a different instrument. So with this one, we wrote the melody. That was all written on just a MIDI.
So you have to first write the lyric. Well, what do you do
write
first?
the melodies first,
And then the lyric.
And then Ollie will have an idea of what he's going to do with lyrics. As it's coming together, he'll start to get an idea. But with this album, at no point did he come in with lyrics, and then we tried to write a song around them.
Yeah, because I was wondering, it sounds like, I don't know, Shadow Moses, for instance. What do you do first? Do you get the melody?
We had nearly the whole song written musically before we even thought about vocals. So what was the first thing in that? I think we wrote pretty much the whole song, and I think then we came up with that. Can you tell from the look in our eyes?
Oh.
But that was the trumpet originally. It was. I'm not even lying. That is how it was written. Yes, I'm good at a trumpet impression. So we'd work on a melody that we thought was really strong and catchy.
Yeah.
And then and then we were like, okay, cool. So then Ollie would go away and be like, yeah, I've got this idea, and he'll start thinking about lyrics, how he can make it work. So yeah, we tend to write with music first, but some people write lyrics first.
Yeah.
And then they'll try and write music around it, but I think it's a lot harder.
Yeah, actually.
You can do it. I mean, it works for some people, but for us, we don't tend to do it because it's hard to fit music around lyrics. So, but generally they'll happen about the same time. Like we'll have an idea, and maybe Ollie will think of a bit of a hook or a little line and say, I think I've got this little bit, and then we'll be like, okay, cool. Well, we'll carry on working.
Sometimes though, Ollie will say like, I want this song to be like uplifting and like euphoric and stuff. So he's got an idea that his lyrics are going to be more not as negative. They're going to be a bit like more like I don't know.
Yeah,
positive.
like positive. Yeah,
positive. So like from that, we like write chords that we think will go that have like a more positive vibe to it and stuff, rather than going for something super dark or whatever. So you can like. If you have lyrics, if you know they're going to be sad, you know that the guitar.
Yeah, the tune has to be sad as well.
So, we do stuff like that if he's got like a general idea.
Also, even things like a good example is in Shadow Moses. This is sempiternal bit. He had the idea for that, and the song didn't used to have that big gap in it. But then, obviously, when he came in with that lyric and it was the name of the album, we were kind of like, well, maybe if we went it would make it more. So you change the music.
Yeah, you have that gap,
Yeah, so they kind of work together. Like as the lyrics are starting to come together, then the music will adapt to fit certain things. And I think like that's when you get a really good song, is when the lyrics and the music like working together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there'll be a section where, for example, in this song when it gets I can't be alone. Everything kind of goes all moody because it's like a build-up.
Yeah.
And it's a repeated line, so we'll automatically be thinking, okay, this is a build-up. So then Lee'll start playing something a bit quieter and a bit more build-uppy. Yeah, exactly. He'll play with his fingers rather than playing with a pick. I mean, it's kind of stuff that sounds obvious, but when I was like 15, 16, and I started writing music, I didn't think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you develop that skill.
Yeah, exactly. So you just learn, but it's just about thinking like what's gonna suit this section. So when he came up with that vocal, we were like, okay, we can write this whole section and build it up around those vocals, and it's exactly. So Lee's got some real simple chords. There goes, I hate being alone. I'm for that feeling to not feel at all. And then sort of after a couple of repeats, Matt comes in with the and starts building it up.
But all of those elements, do you add them up after you finish a song? I mean the whole synthesizers and all that stuff.
No.
Do you have to?
For me, I like with synths, I usually will have a rough idea. I'll have something down. It might not be the finished version, but I'll at least. So like there's quite a lot of piano in that song. So I had the piano chords. I'd already written them in. But then when it gets to that section and breaks down, and it kind of goes like this.
Yeah.
That was like we wanted that to drop out to nothing to increase the drama of when it comes back in. Because that's what you want to do, is try and make everything as dramatic as possible.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
So we thought if it cuts down to nothing completely and goes dead quiet, and then gradually builds up, then when it cracks back in,
Yeah.
you're kind of working to bring the most out of every song, sort of thing. So
Perfect.
It depends. Like this song was one of the first ones we started writing, but we finished it last, I think. So we started writing it, then wrote the rest of the album, and then finished with this song. So this song took like 3 months to write. So it depends really.
we don't work on it like consistently. So we'll work on it for a bit. Because we were writing an album, we'd work on this for like a day or half a day and come up with some ideas and get some cool stuff. And then if you reach a bit of a wall and you can't come up with any more ideas, we'd go and work on something else and try and like focus on that for a bit. And then sometimes when you come back to it again, you hear it differently and you'll be like, maybe it should do this. So it could be cool to have a bit of time away. But yeah, this one took. Yeah, exactly. The vocals changed right at the very end. So it just depends. It varies really. Sometimes some of the songs we pretty much wrote really quick. Because if you have an idea and it's all coming really fast, then you just go with it. But sometimes we have to work hard. And this one was one of those ones where we didn't get it until right near the end. You know what I mean? Like we knew that we could. A lot of the time you'll know there's something good in the song, but you haven't necessarily cracked it, so you have to just keep working at it. I'm going to have to restart again. It's a bit idiot. Do you have a question? Say again?
I like the song It's quite a good song, but it's just like slow and kind of dark sounding. I think a few of us, that's our favourite song. I don't know why. Can I play it? Yeah, I mean this guitar's not tuned down, it's tuned like standard, but I'm in the chords.